Welcome back to Terror Takeover, your one-stop shop for all things creepy, disgusting, and horrifying. I'm your host, Crow.
And I'm Shar.
And we are joined here by a very special guest, Davey Oberlin, right? Is it Oberlin?
Yeah, just like the music college.
Very
Nice.
Viking last name there. I am going to not try to use a million words to explain your very extensive background. So Davey is the touring keyboardist for Korn. Keys, and are you still playing with Five Finger Death Punch at the moment, or was that?
I turned down the rest of the year because of all the damn
Gotcha.
vampires. I was just a little too busy
Focusing on that. Got you.
Yeah.
That's badass. Yeah, keys and backing vocals for Five Finger Death Punch. Not for the rest of the year, though. Formerly of Winds of Plague and Dawn of Ashes. And then you've also got, as you mentioned, a really badass solo project called All the Damn Vampires. Super cool stuff. Kind of, I think you describe it as synthwave. It's very 80s. Very cool. How would you describe All the Damn Vampires?
Yeah, I'd say synthwave is accurate, but I don't know. It's kind of like my goal is to have some of the kind of retro synths and melodies, but with modern production. So
Cool.
I mix and master it just like a modern EDM or pop song.
Got you. Yeah, so it looks like you started playing music like in the early 2000s, which you probably look a lot younger than you actually are, if that's the case.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I was pretty
Yeah.
shocked by that.
I'm in my 60s now, but it's a bad joke. I'm not.
Oh, I was like, what is happening?
No.
What's happening?
I was almost glad I didn't get that joke out.
Dude, I'm leaving it in. I'm definitely leaving it in. Yeah, that's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
I didn't realize. I saw while I was stalking you today that you've actually played in a band with Jennifer Finch, and I almost about flipped my shit because I'm a huge L7 fan.
Okay.
As well as, yeah, what's the name of their band in Serial Mom? It's like is it the Camel Toes or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
I love the
yeah.
Camel Toes too. Good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut.
Nice.
Yeah, that was really,
Yeah.
really
Oh, yeah.
cool. Was that like your first experience just touring and playing music in general?
Yeah, so I met Jen because my friend was setting up guitars at Schecter.
Hmm.
And so I went down to the shop to check it out, and then he was trying to help me like do it professionally and like actually tour because I was just playing in like bands locally.
Gotcha.
So I met Jen. We went to like some crazy Halloween party in the Hollywood Hills with one of her best friends
Aw.
who
Nice.
another really cool like little side note to it. Her friend used to be married to Dave Gahan of Depeche Mode, which was like my favorite band.
Oh
So
my gosh,
like,
yeah.
Heck
yeah, I was so stoked. And then like the party was great, and we were standing outside waiting for like a taxi or a ride or something, and a fight broke out. And I got between the two girls and what was going on like right away. Like I stood between them. And later on, Jen was like, "That was basically the vibe check." She's like, once she did that, I was like, "You can come on tour." So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that band was actually called The Shocker, and we
Nice.
Europe was my first tour. I'd barely been out of my hometown at all. I remember we got to like Spain. I had a fever. I remember sleeping on the side of the stage, waking up, getting up to do the set. I was the lead guitar player and second vocalist, so it was a lot. And some dude kept yelling at me in like broken English down below. He's like, "Play one more!" Like he just
God, yeah.
that's all I remember. We got like tapas, and then I slept for like 2 days.
I thought you said for a second we got topless. I was like, hell yeah.
No.
But no, tapas. Yeah, that's sick.
No.
That
Yeah, there's
also would've
great.
made sense.
Great food in Spain. Great people as
Yeah.
well. I feel like Spanish
Mhm.
people are just like always down to party. They're all like super
Yes.
punk and they're like ready to throw down. So I
Absolutely.
definitely had a great time. I also felt very at home because everyone looked like me and like my hair is normally very curly and it was like,
Same. You and me
these
both.
are my people. Yeah, it was
Nice.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Everyone
really
would just
enjoyed it.
assume I'm like Italian or Spanish or French. I just keep my mouth shut and just be like,
Oh yeah, just go for it. Yeah, just nod,
Yeah.
smile and
Oui.
wave. Yeah. Yeah. So even now you're still like doing a ton of touring, things like that. Well, not for the rest of the year, probably. Or not as much
Yeah.
for the rest of the year, but how much time would you say that you normally actually spend at home?
since I was 20, it's been pretty off and on. I'd only be home
Oh,
for
yeah.
like 4 months out of the year. It would seem like so.
Man.
Oh
This has
wow.
been kind of nice. We did all these like stadium shows with Metallica, and that I was like, okay, that's a cool one. Like I want
Yeah.
that on my I've done it list. And
Right, that's sick.
yeah, so those were cool. I took the set for SoFi Stadium. Ivan was sick, so I sang for like 80,000 people the whole set with Phil from All That Remains. Me and him did the whole thing, and then a couple more shows, and I was like, all right, like there's a 5-month break, and then the remainder of the year I was like, I'm just going to focus on me, my solo stuff, because when I'm on tour I don't get a lot of time to write and polish what I'm doing, so really like my passions in songwriting and producing, so I've been focusing on that. But I am sad because Gil Sharon's playing drums for Marilyn Manson, and him and I were in a band for a couple of years. His band Stolen Babies. I was their guitar player, and
cool.
So he was like, "Hey, are you on this tour?" I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, man. I said no." So. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So next question, is there anything you can't do? Basically, it seems like you play a little bit of everything. You sing, you play guitar, you do like the production stuff. That's really sick. And yeah, I can imagine that it's probably pretty difficult to do stuff like that from the road, being that you probably need a pretty good computer and things of that nature.
I can't sleep. That's
okay. That's real. That's real.
I try, or at least I end up sleeping in, and then I feel like terrible. But I get things done. It's late, so
for sure.
But I'll be on like Elden Rings for the chunk of time that I was supposed to go to sleep. I'm like on Elden Rings, and then I'm like bedtime.
That was another thing I wanted to bring up is we spoke in the past a little bit about gaming, but we never quite got around to it, which is beyond me. I have no idea how that never happened, but
it's my fault.
No, I mean, it might be mine as well. Well, being that I stream, I can't play certain games on stream by personal choice, and then also by way of like whatever the fandom is like for that particular game. Sometimes it gets like a little violent and a little scary in chat, so I try to avoid that kind of stuff. But
it's just like hardcore music.
Yeah, exactly, right. But in like a much less cool way. So, what games are you playing right now? Other than Elden Ring.
I actually just picked up Rogue Legacy 2 because I really liked the first one, and I wanted something I could just like sip my coffee and just kind of zone out on. And I've been playing Magic the Gathering Arena like I have since the beta. Like I've played Magic since the 90s, so I'm aging myself again. So I play Arena a lot, and then I'll jump on Call of Duty with my cousin and my best friend since kindergarten, and that's our tradition. We get on there and we play Plunder. We go to one room on the map. We type in the lobby. We tell everyone we're going there, and that they need to show up. And then like dudes just keep dropping in, and we just like stack together. And everybody hates it. They call it camping, even though we're just like, But once we get them, we'll shoot their bodies and we'll like teabag them. So then people just keep coming. It's so toxic and so addicting. Nice. I love it.
We're super toxic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can watch them typing in the lobby, and it's amazing. Like it keeps me young. God. That's why I look younger.
Oh, okay. It's Call of Duty. It's talking shit. It's cyberbullying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You heard it here first,
for your health. Cyberbullying saves lives.
I'm canceled. I'm so
canceled. You heard it here first. We tried playing Call of Duty for a bit, but it was just like, why did we not? What was the problem?
I feel like we were get behind getting into it. Like it was a lot of people who have been playing for years and were just like blowing us out of the water. And then it was kind of just really toxic player base. Everyone had a mic and they were all just talking shit constantly. So I'm like, wow, okay, this is a lot to deal with.
Yeah,
I think us three should get in there. We'll go into our own Discord chat so they can't hear us.
Yes. I'm so down.
We'll stack that room together, and I'll go crazy. I think I dropped like a 41 kill game by myself, dropping in quads.
Shit, that's sick.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, we're super toxic. We play Fortnite, but it's. I mean, you can imagine how bad that gets on there. So yeah. Things get pretty rough, but we enjoy
people off cliffs,
we have to be a little evil.
That's a tough one. I'm like, man, this like 12-year-old kid just destroyed me, then danced on my body.
Hit the gritty on the way out. It might have been us. We're the 12-year-old kids. Yeah, that's sick. We definitely have to get something together. I'm like more than down to do that if you're serious about it. Yes. I want to play. I'm like always looking for more people to play games with, and we both play all day, every day, essentially. So we know like this shit.
I think if it's crossplay with PlayStation, I'm golden. The problem is my PC is just not good to game on. And
I see.
Yeah, I used to be really like I was a Counter-Strike player, and we played like semi-pro. And now when I get on mouse and keyboard, I try to, play first person shooters on mouse and keyboard, and like I'm like overspinning and underspinning. I just I can't. Yeah. I gotta be on a controller, and if I get a PC and play on controller, it's gotta be like a really good one so there's no latency and
Oh shit! Yeah, no wireless. Yeah, everything's got to be plugged in.
Yeah, serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds semi-pro. I remember we talked in the past about Dead by Daylight, which is a horror game. So obviously I bring it up on this podcast a lot, but I don't remember if you'd ever gotten it or if you had looked into it or.
Okay, with that, I had it at one time, but my thing with games is like if my friends aren't playing them, I try it out for a little bit and then I just can't get into it because I don't have people to jump in with. So that was the story with Dead by Daylight. So
yeah, you're totally a multiplayer through and through. I got that.
Yeah. I mean, I love single players, but like those type of games, I have to be with friends or I just get bored really quick. And it's like you get like random squad fills and you're like, how are these people alive in real life?
Yeah.
Like
where did they come from?
Yeah. They're just walking off bridges, like it's crazy.
just struggling for sure.
Totally smooth.
I don't want to go off topic too much. Let's hop back into your solo project, All the Damn Vampires. I just watched, I'm so embarrassed to admit this on the podcast, but I finally watched Terrifier 2 today after forever, because you told me forever ago that you guys had a song on there. And I was like listening because I listened to the song before I actually watched the show, or sorry, the movie. And I was like waiting for it to happen. Does it play during the club scene? Is that what it is? Okay,
yeah, when she's on the phone with her mom.
Got you. Yeah. It's a very distracting scene, but yeah, crazy movie. It was really cool, and there were a lot of like songs of a similar kind of 80s synthwave nature on there. So I thought y'all were like I thought you were the perfect match for that soundtrack.
Thank you. Yeah, that was kind of a cool scenario because the guy that did the whole like score for it and soundtrack is Paul Wiley. He was the bass player for Manson. And I think the director, Damien Leone, was looking for like good synthwave for the movie and wasn't happy with anything he was hearing. And then I have another friend, he was like in Hollywood and Dead and all that and knows Paul really well. And he was like, oh, you got to check out All the Damn Vampires. So they checked it out. And then Paul hit me up and asked about using it in the movie. And I was like, anything you want. Like, I loved the first film.
Yeah.
So they took that track, and that's off an EP I did with a French artist, Yoda, Y-O-T-A, not D-A.
Yeah.
And we wrote that together during the pandemic on the premise of like undertones of Typo Negative and like goth with synthwave. So it was really fun. It was a cool EP, and I was glad to see it get a little bit of love, a soundtrack like that.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of the people in the comments were like, this was my favorite song from the movie, way sick. I was like, that's awesome. Yeah.
Maybe no way.
YouTube comments I try to avoid reading them, but they were overwhelmingly positive on that particular one. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's
and I
great.
saw, it was alongside, I like Boy Harsher a lot as well. And they were also on there. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That song from the new Halloween, it's like, I forgot what it's called. It's a Boy Harsher.
They're on there?
Yeah, it's when the guy that like is starting to slowly turn into Michael Myers is like on his bike ride or something, or motorcycle ride. I can't remember. I was in the theater and I was just like zoned out. I was like, this song's amazing.
Yeah.
And so later on I found out, and I put it on when I'm driving sometimes at night and just get real creepy.
You just start turning evil on your way home.
Yeah. I just look. I'm like,
Anyone can get it. Anyone can get it. No.
Anyone can get the smoke anytime.
Yeah, that's cool. It seems like I'd say it seems like music for you is just as important visually as it is like sonically. Would you agree with that?
100%. I think that's why I chose synthwave, because it's the most visually synergistic. Like the music and the visuals always match really well. And when I'm writing, I'm thinking of like, a cool scene. Goonies was like one of my favorite movies growing up. Lost Boys. The music was so important. So, and why I put Halloween on that list is the soundtrack with the
John
visuals.
Carpenter,
yeah. Could you imagine that movie without that?
Right.
It would change everything.
Yeah, so cool. I scored a short film called Girls Night In, and it did really well at a bunch of like film festivals. And these two girls and like a serial killer comes to kill them. And they're in the bathroom and they're like, wait, he's kind of hot. Like he's tall. He has like,
that's for real.
Then they start like fighting over him, and then they end up like accidentally killing each other. And he's on the other side of the door listening, and he's like, what? And so, I did the score for that. And like, I was channeling like It Follows and Halloween.
Great movie.
Like, so Yeah,
for
and
sure.
I was really happy. I'll send you that file sometime
Yeah,
to check
please
out.
do, and then we can
We'll definitely
share
watch
that. That'd
it.
be awesome.
Yeah,
people
That's
would
too
love to
funny.
see
That
it.
sounds like a great idea for a short film.
yeah, it was great. It was great. Everybody involved was awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Halloween because we did an episode a while back on John Carpenter, and I didn't realize that
Oh,
he like scored most of his own movies. Like I'm pretty sure he did
Yeah.
like
yeah.
basically everything.
Yeah, he was very
For
much like, no one can do it better than, not no one can do it better than me, but like, who better than me to do it myself,
Yeah.
right.
He's a
So,
total
Yeah.
like lead singer vibe, like
Yeah.
that lead singer
Oh
singer.
yeah. Yeah, we probably would not get along at all if I spoke to him, but
Aw.
I love thinking about him from a distance, so which is
Yeah,
really
me
cool.
too. I like the
Yeah.
way you put that.
Have you ever considered like actually getting into filmmaking yourself? I know that you've done like a lot of like scoring for certain things, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely in my head. I kind of had this dream of doing like a dark sci-fi, and I have these like creatures I do. I don't know if you saw any of that. I call them boneheads, and they're
yeah.
I saw that. That artwork was
Okay,
so
cool.
cool.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I have like a whole world behind that, and it's like it's kind of like a mishmash of like Elden Rings and Star Wars, like just the classic like good and evil. And so I would love to see that come to life in a fun way. My dream would be like straight up like the first Ninja Turtles film with like the practical effects costumes, or like Garbage Pail Kids, how creepy that was. So that would be really cool. But I'm actually like doing a bunch of 4 foot tall printed ones that are like hand painted of the boneheads, and I think I'm going to bring them to Designer Con in Vegas in November.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll send
Like-
you one of the smaller ones that are like that.
Dude, I'd
I'll
be so
send you both.
stoked. That'd be amazing.
Nice. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
very
Cool.
kind. Do you make it to a lot of conventions?
Yeah, actually, more and more because I have friends that are always there. So I have a good friend. He goes by Rocom, and he has a action figure line called Mighty Maniacs, and they're so cool. They're like vinyl figures, and he's always at like Comic Con and Designer Con. So I'll go with him a lot, and I started realizing, like, dude, I love these conventions. Like everyone's just here to have fun. It's like Disneyland, but without the wholesomeness per se. Like
right.
some of the cosplay is kind of wild, but it's just fun. It's like I feel comfortable around these people. Like this is great. So I really enjoy it, and I love like buying T-shirts at those. They always have the best T-shirts at cons and stuff.
Yeah.
Like just like rare prints and stuff. I got this cool like Sanders Sisters like.
Oh, I couldn't see because it was cut off. That's sick.
It's like it's got like tour dates on it and everything on the back, like the fake like tour date shirt. Yeah,
Dude, that's
really.
awesome. That's actually cool.
So I always try to find like cool T-shirts and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah,
we're going to one next week, which is about an hour away from where I live. And I went to it last year and it was pretty cool. It's not a big one. It's a super small one, but they don't have a lot of like big horror conventions that come around here. And this one is, I'm doxing myself, but it doesn't really matter. This one is Cult Classic Convention in Baton Rouge. So that one's going to be really cool because actually the lady who is like the face of Pazuzu in The Exorcist, like that crazy with the teeth and all that, she's going to be there. I forgot her name. A bunch of people from the Warriors, which I haven't seen.
Oh, I love that movie.
I figured you'd
It's
probably
so good.
you've probably seen it a couple of times.
You saw that one in theaters in the 70s? No.
people, you know that one. No, I'm just joking. No, there's it's usually like some pretty cool people. There's like some people from like the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's I just want to be there, and there's a lot of people that sell like horror related things. So they have the t-shirt guys. It's like a guy that basically sets up a wall that's like a Hot Topic wall, just like full of like horror t-shirt designs. May or may not be original. I don't know. He probably like rips them from somewhere, but they're reasonably priced. So anyway, that'll be fun.
For anyone listening, that's Baton Rouge, New Mexico. So
yeah, exactly, for sure. Yeah. No names. Yeah, this is all alleged. Stuff. So
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked a little bit about a lot of your favorite movies are 80s movies. Is that just because that was probably around? I don't even know how to. I thought you were like maybe like 5 years older than me. So this is all like I don't want to make it sound like you're like 80 years old. But did you grow up? Is that like the first horror movies that you caught?
Well, for context, most of the movies I caught were in the 90s, but
Got you. Okay.
but I had three sisters, and my older sister was like an 80s kid, and so she would have like slumber parties, and they'd watch like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. And I wasn't supposed to watch them, but I'd like army crawl out and I'd like sit underneath the thing, and I'd watch it, and then I would just have nightmares. But I actually grew up in a haunted house, so like that amplified how creepy it was. Yeah,
that's cool.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! Wait, tell me about your haunted house.
Yes, let's hear.
So forever, as a kid, you're told like you just have an active imagination, you're scared, and I had to think about it a lot growing up, and then I would remember things, and I'd read other people's stories, and I was like, wait a second. I was totally in a haunted house, because no other house I lived in was like that. I would hear footsteps at night. I heard like breathing in my door frame, and I woke up out of sleep and I was like frozen in fear. It was like a shadow like in the breathing. I'm just a kid, so I would sneak into my sister's room and sleep on the floor because I was like, oh no, I don't want to be alone. And then I had this like really creepy ventriloquist dummy that I hated.
What the fuck?
So you know how like, have you ever had those sliding closet doors with mirrors that have 3 cupboards above them or cupboards?
Yeah.
I shoved it all the way back in the cupboard, and I didn't want to see it anymore. And I had this terrible dream, and there's these like green eyes looking at me through my closet. My closet's open. And I wake up, and my cupboard's open, and the ventriloquist dummy's hanging down. And like that was it. I was like, okay.
No,
and then stomped out in the driveway.
Yeah. And I would have these like reoccurring dreams where how do I explain? Well, okay, so there was like a perimeter wall in our backyard, and you could go outside of that on the sidewalk in the street. So I would be outside of that in my dream, and I would look in the kitchen window that was like this little like kind of turret window, and I would see like a doll every time the lightning would flash, and then it would run off, and I'd go in the house and I'd like be like looking everywhere. I needed to be inside because it was storming, and so that dream happened like 4 or 5 times, and that's not normal. So
yeah.
So, I mean, I continue to have paranormal experiences my whole life. I think I'm like kind of like a conduit for it. But I mean, I've got like UFO videos on my phone. I saw a ghost with my own eyes like on the beach.
I'm going to need those videos.
I'm very intrigued. Yes.
Yeah. I got some legit ones actually that were like on like a couple of UFO shows. But yeah.
We're alien believers over here. So
we're alien apologists over here.
Don't apologize for
it. We want to believe.
I know.
I had some similar experiences, and my brother corroborated the same story. Like basically we'd be home alone, and then you just hear someone running around the house, and there was nobody else there. There would be times where I had a little bit of a troubled childhood, so also there was probably that in addition to whatever. But I'd be like laying on the couch in the living room because I hated sleeping in my own room, and just when I'd be falling asleep, I'd hear someone like walk up to the couch, like, and then so I'd freak out and have to look behind it, and every time there'd be nobody. We didn't have animals or anything like that at this particular point in time, and it just happened over and over every time I'd fall asleep. And then another thing that happened was we had a neighbor's house that I would always have like nightmares about for some reason as well. And it was the kind of thing where I'd be looking through my bedroom window and you could see like the window in his attic. And then I would always have dreams that there'd be somebody watching me from there because it was just direct line of sight.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't even know if that house is still standing. I don't live in the same city anymore, but basically, this is a little dark, but I mean, we're talking about dark shit. The nature of this podcast is dark. So this guy ended up dying in his bed, and no one checked on him for like a week. And it's very hot in Louisiana. Yeah. So he was just one time when I was probably around 12 years old, I had a friend over, and we would always just stay up until like 2 or 3 a.m. for no reason. And I had a TV and a laptop on my desk, and we would always just like try to like do these like little fake Ouija boards or like just try to do like things to scare ourselves. It was all bullshit, but for whatever reason, like we had mentioned this guy's name, and this was like shortly after he died, maybe a week or two. And then my TV just like turned on its own. And wait. No. It wasn't the TV first. Sorry. It was my laptop just like started up and then just shut off.
That's even worse.
And I was like,
yeah, that's undeniable.
I was like, that's kind of weird. But I was thinking, well, my laptop, it was kind of shitty, probably riddled with viruses and whatnot because of LimeWire and all that shit. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just like acting up. So we waited a beat, said his name again, and like clockwork, the laptop came right back on and then shut off again. And we were like,
oh no,
we were kind of freaking out, but then we were just like giggling, laughing because we were like, surely this is not like a paranormal situation, right? She said her name. She said his name again, and my TV came on. Like not the laptop this time, my TV, and it was like a news report.
Time to wrap it up.
It was like a news report, but the voice was all fucked up, so it was like, stuff like that.
God, that's nightmare.
So
that's the icing on the cake.
And I never say his name again. Like to this day, I can't bring myself to say it out loud.
Yeah, because you open that doorway, so he's just waiting. He's like, just say it, just say it.
You have to say it one more time.
Right behind you. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
I've actually had a lot of experiences on tour. A lot of times it's like old hotels near water. I feel like water is like the conduit. So okay, so I have a theory. So this is just totally my own personal beliefs. But in the Bible, they talk about Jesus goes to exorcise this guy, and he asks them to ask what the demon's name is, and he says, "We're legion, for we are many." So there's like all these demons in this guy, and it's the only time in the Bible that Jesus like grants the wishes of demons, and they say, "Don't pass judgment on us before our time, whatever, cast us into those pigs." So he casts them out of the body, grants the wish. They go into the bodies of the pigs. They immediately run off the cliff and drown themselves. And so my theory is that water being a form of energy transfer, like spirits and disembodied spirits and things like that, can actually move through them. The first time in my life I actually saw like a figure shape was on water, and it was like when do you want me to tell the story? Because I wanted to tell a tour story.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, I've got two stories. This one's not on tour. So I'm in Ventura County, and there's a little beach town that's kind of spooky. It has a weird history. There was a huge mudslide that took out like 2 blocks and killed a bunch of people, sadly. I grew up going there. My friend has a beach house, and so the freeway is really dangerous there, super quick. The only way to get on the beach at the time was a tunnel that went through under the freeway through the town that you had to crouch down in. And once you get to the end of the tunnel, you go down some rocks, you're on sand, and then you have the beach. But for whatever reason that night, and it was myself, my friend Scott, and 2 girls that lived in town, and we always hung out when we were there and just would go down to the beach at night and chill. We get to the end of the tunnel, and the tide is so high that there's no sand. Like, it's all the way up to the rocks. I've never seen it like that in an entire, like, half a lifetime, going there as a kid. So we get out onto the rocks. We get up on top of the tunnel where we can sit safely and just look out at the ocean. And my buddy Scott like goes quiet, and I look, and he looks like he's freaked out. And then I'm like about to ask him what's going on, and the girl to the left starts screaming, and I'm like, guys, what? Like, a ghost? Like, we're seeing a ghost. And I'm trying to tell them that like you can see shadows from the cars on the whitewash because the headlights and the way they move. So I'm pointing over to the left shore break, and I'm like, look, guys, you see the shadows? And then I see it, and it looks like a woman in a white gown, translucent, like Haunted Mansion style, big black eyes. And the moment that I noticed, it was like the presence of it was on me, and it was so oppressive and dark. It was crazy. Like,
Damn.
I was like, guys, like we need to get off the beach right now. This is like not a good thing to be around. It was crazy. Like, I couldn't believe my own eyes. And it caught me off guard because I'm trying to disprove it all the time in my life that things were happening. I was either looking for it or I just happened to see it in the moment of, hearing things or whatever. But this was like undeniable. And then the other weird part about that is, like, years before that, we were having a bonfire on that beach, and we saw these red lights in the sky that were flying around, and they were forming triangles, and they would like morph into one and then split into 3. I'm with like, 15 people or something, and none of us are drinking or anything. Like, I'm sober at the time. And we're watching all this go down for a while. Like, and then they shot out these little yellow things that look like flares. One of them starts falling towards the ocean, disappears. Okay, so that's the same beach. Well, I want to say it was like 3 years ago. I'm on Twitter, and I see this AI recreation of this woman in white with the black eyes. And it's the exact woman I saw on that beach.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and they're saying that people see her around UFO sightings, like UFO events, and at the same time. Yeah, so it's super crazy, like full circle moment.
Oh,
and I got chills when I saw it, because I always knew what I saw, but I never put it into words. My friend Scott doesn't even like talking about it if I bring it up. So it's not like we can reminisce on my former lover, the lady with the black eyes. No, but so that was really crazy. And then the tour story. Yeah, I wanted the story you told about the TV kind of reminded me of something that happened to me in Boston. So have you ever played the Palladium with like Scott Lee over there in Worcester, Massachusetts?
I'm not really sure
like
though.
Okay, it's like a bigger House of Blues, and a lot of times like Acacia Strain would play there, you know, a lot of those bands. And so we were coming through there with Dawn of Ashes. My girlfriend at the time lived in Boston, and so we'd start over there in the East Coast. She'd jump in with us. So we're together. Like, I hadn't seen her in like 3 months. We're in the hotel room. It's, I don't know, 2, 3 a.m. and we're about to go to sleep, and the TV turns on full blast, full volume. And at this point, I'm like, I'm tired from touring. I miss my girlfriend. I need to go sleep. I don't even care what this thing is. I'm just like, nope.
Yeah.
And I get out of bed and I go to turn the TV off. And as soon as that's off, I can hear that all the water in the bathroom is turned on full blast.
Oh, hell no.
Like, it was crazy.
Oh my
God.
Oh,
God.
I'll be stressed out.
Yeah, that's really scary.
Yeah, and she was like hardcore Russian, very like thick Russian. And she's like, "What is going on?" I'm like, I don't know, babe. It's all good. Just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever look into that hotel later on and see if there was any like previous activity?
That would have been the smart thing to do, but I didn't do it.
I mean, it's not
I
too
never
late.
looked into it.
You
Yeah,
still
you're
could.
right. You're right. Yeah, I should.
Know.
I should, because there's a lot of great hotels we stayed at that do have haunted history that they talk about. Like Virginia Beach has, if I can only remember the name, the Renaissance or something like that. It's a gorgeous hotel. It's one of my favorite ones. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I might, because they have. Do they have a documentary on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I should watch that, because we had a weird experience there with Five Finger Death Punch, and like there was a room that one of the Anheuser-Busch or Budweiser guys, I think, like he jumped from it supposedly, but the window was closed and locked in his room behind him, so it didn't make any sense. Yeah, it's on the 6th floor.
It's
like
weird.
Yeah. And I think Ivan from Five Finger got put in that room because it was like they had a big convention, so we were like, the hotel was mostly sold out. And he said he had to go sleep in the tour bus because his AC kept turning on. He was freezing in the room, and like all this weird stuff. Yeah, it was cool.
Haunted.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my
There's a
gosh,
lot of cool stories there.
this is totally turning into like a ghost episode, but I
Let's
have
go.
to mention,
I'm with it.
I just remember this. We were on tour. I don't remember what tour it was. It was just maybe it was like a headlining one or something, but so my guitarist's girlfriend lives in Pennsylvania. He lives there too now. That's why we had to cancel like everything for the rest of the year, but whatever. I don't even want to get into that. But basically we were staying at her like place of business while they were going to end up going back to her house because something had went wrong. We couldn't stay with her for whatever reason, with her plumbing or something like that. And so this place, it was like a spa or like a hair place. So it kind of looked like a house, but it just had a couple couches that we were like staying on. And it was like, for whatever reason in the area, like it was very like skinny buildings, but it was just like 3 floors.
Oh,
and
that sounds terrible.
yeah, it was like super like shoulder to shoulder, just like small. And she was like, "There's a room upstairs if you want to stay there," because like, you know, just I would always take all the chances that I could get to get away from the dudes. And so I'm following her upstairs, and I immediately get like a chill, and I was like, "Oh no!" I said, "I can't stay up here." I was like, "It's like there's something going on. It's like weird." And I'm not like that. Like I don't like feel stuff like that ever unless it's like serious. And she was like, "Oh, that's crazy that you felt that. Yeah, there's a guy that's like up," or something about like, "There's a guy ghost up here and he's like super friendly or whatever." And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back downstairs.
No warning.
So I went back
Don't mind him.
I went back downstairs and I didn't even say anything. And our like merch guy at the time went upstairs, and like we were just kind of like talking, and like I was like telling the guys how it felt really weird, and he came downstairs and he didn't hear any of that conversation, and he was just like shaken, like he was freaked out, and he goes, "Something is going on upstairs." And we were like, "Dude, yeah, there's definitely some strange energy at work." Okay.
Weird.
Later on that evening, Tyler had already left, and it was me, our merch guy Zach, and then our drummer Jeremy and bass player Trevor. And we were all like staying in this one room. Like we all stayed in the same room because we were all so scared. And Trevor got so freaked out in there that he went and slept in the van. And so it was just me, Jeremy, and Zach. And I'm like trying so hard to get some sleep, but I keep waking up like every 5 minutes thinking someone's looking at me, and there never was at any point.
Yeah, that's just a clear sign right there.
And so my eyes were kind of just like open. I was kind of just like laying there, and then I see, he's gonna be so mad if I say this on here, but I see our merch guy Zach gets up abruptly and just starts like crawling around. And I was
Oh
like,
no!
I was like, yeah.
Oh.
I can't believe I never said this to you, Shar. But I was like, Zach, are you good? And he didn't say anything for a while. And I was like, Zach. And he finally goes, like he had no idea what the hell was going on. And so we were like, never stay there again.
Possessed.
Yeah, we ended up coming
Literally.
we ended up going through
the
yeah, who knows what the a dog or some
Probably
shit
so.
or I don't know. But anyway,
my
yeah,
God.
I was like, I'm never staying in this
No.
building again. Like this was horrible. I got like an hour of sleep maybe, if that, but it was terrible.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Not trying to one up your story, but you're reminding me of other stories. Very, very similar. I think we were in either Spain or Italy, which is a shocker. And we were staying at this very old hotel. It was beautiful, but it was like definitely you could see the age on it, and it was right next to this river. And we all were pretty tired, so we went to take naps. And I woke up because I kept hearing flies, and I was like, "What the heck?" And I wake up, and there's flies in the lampshade all of a sudden, and then the TV's on, and I swore I turned it off. So I'm like, "Okay, that's weird." I turn it off. I fall back asleep. I have this weird nightmare where somebody's growling at me. I go downstairs to the lobby because I can't sleep anymore, and my drummer's down there. And I was like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "I can't sleep." And I'm like, "Me neither." He's like, "Yeah, I just kept having nightmares." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it was like it was like an animal or something." I'm like, "Dude, we had like the same nightmare at the same time."
No.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's straight evil shit.
Yeah, the girls didn't have any problem. And then I went back up to the room, and like there's lights outside of all the doors, and mine was like going like this, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I just got myself and like put it on the tour bus. Yeah. I can also empathize with you. I've been in bands with women, like, so the Shocker, Stolen Babies, we had a female singer, and Winds of Plague, we had Elena on keyboards. And I also grew up with all women, 3 sisters. So I'm like thinking of just the nightmare of being around all of us idiots all the time. I mean, I have very good hygiene because of my sisters, but like, that's not always the case with dudes, and women really need their space, and it's kind of sacred, So I admire that you rough it out, doing tours with a bunch of dudes. Like,
yeah, I mean, you get used to it and all that or whatever. And then I also grew up with 4 older brothers, so it's kind of like it's not super foreign to me. But it's just sometimes the nature of conversations would just get to be too much. I'd be like, y'all can talk about your gross like boy shit, and I'm gonna go like do something over there, But it is what it is. So anyway,
let's start a side project, us 3.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Start
Only if I
else.
could just like scream awkwardly like Yoko Ono the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a vibe.
Sorry, you can bang on like a folding chair.
Yeah.
I'll just like yeah.
I'll do like the Mongolian throat singing.
Oh fuck yeah, let's go. Hell yeah. All right.
We toured with that Mongolian band, The Who.
Oh no way.
No way.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I kind of figured out how to do it. And so we'd be at like some venue in like Cleveland, and there's a bonfire in the back, and I would just like start Mongolian singing into one of their ears real quick, and like they turn around like all tripped out.
Change the vibe real quick.
Yeah. Trevor would try to do it, but he could not do it. He just fucking do. Yeah, they would get drunk and they would try to throat sing. What's that band, Hanson? Bop or whatever. Yeah, it was just fucking weird. Shit would get weird. Yeah, but he would just keep going. Bop. I was like, all right, this is very strange. Yeah, it was fucking horrible. All right, shit. Oh my god.
It'll rip your vocal cords up.
Yeah, it definitely will. My throat hurts just thinking about it.
I know you mentioned that you're into a lot of 80s horror, Return of the Living Dead, Halloween, Event Horizon, Lost Boys. We actually just went on a big Aliens binge this past couple days.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know where to start. I guess it all comes down to, the music and like some of the more convincing psychological elements, like Event Horizon, like is so creepy. Like when he's when he's crawling around in the ducts trying to fix that thing, and then he sees his wife with her eyes out. I'm like,
I love an air duct scene. Love a good air duct
absolutely.
scene.
Yes, they had a bunch back then.
That tight framing, and the second it turns, it just sucks. Like, and so like that scene alone messed me up for a while. Like I'd get up to go pee in the middle of the night, and I didn't want to look in the mirror, so I just don't want to see like an eyeless face. Like,
yeah,
absolutely.
Jeepers Creepers style.
Yeah.
Oh, what was another? You know what else like really messed me up for a while? Have you ever seen the movie A Fire in the Sky?
I've heard of it though.
Oh my gosh, the abduction scene in it is like 10 minutes long, and it's the most terrifying thing I've ever seen.
Is that wait, who does that one?
I can't tell you. I'm not sure. I just remember it coming out in the late 90s, and it's all practical effects.
Okay.
And I can't even remember the actors. I think the kid from E.T.'s in it, maybe. It's like one of the brothers. But it's based on a true story.
Oh. Because I know John Carpenter had one that had come out, but I can't remember what it was called. I don't think that was it, though. I think it was like Star or something or whatever. But yeah, Fire in the Sky. I like randomly just get obsessed with aliens like every once in a while, and I just start trying to watch a bunch of alien movies. So I think that's one that just keeps popping up. I just like am super and then I swear at heart I am a doomsday prepper, but I'm like always watching those like the BuzzFeed Unsolved type stuff, and there's like a show I can't remember what exactly it's called, but they basically just like talk about different alien sightings and the viability of like whether or not it actually looked like it could have happened or things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to remember what it's called, but they'll try to like look and see if it looks like it was digitally altered or if the sounds just like a little off, things like that.
It's harder to tell now than before, for sure. With all the AI stuff, it's like, man.
Oh, I know.
Everything was definitely real.
Yeah. The flip side of that is that we have some of the best footage we've ever seen now. Like, did you see just recently? I think it was either in Cuba or Turkey. I don't know, but did you see that kind of shape shifting craft? That's like perfectly clear.
Ooh. Where the girl was like
posting it like crazy.
She was videoing herself, and then you see it in the background.
No, that was
a
awesome
meteor.
Too,
that was a meteor. It was a meteor.
Yeah, the green meteor that goes over. No, this was. It just looks like I actually filmed like a UFO that kind of looks like this. It's like a blob with like an aura around it. But this one looks like it's taken on like a classic kind of saucer form, but it's still kind of morphing a little bit.
Oh wow,
that's cool.
And it's all over Twitter right now. I'm obsessed with this stuff. So I like, but I mean that's like the. Yeah, I mean, you can go all over the world, but like you can't go into space or in the upper atmosphere and like see UFOs. So
that's true.
Or
Area 51.
What's left to do? Yeah,
exactly.
Area 51. I know. I was really hopeful for storming the Area 51.
Yes,
Remember that?
I was so into that. I was like, we gotta do it. Come on, y'all, let's do it. Let's do it.
I was gonna be the second wave.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah, I was like, let the first line go. Exhaust all the ammunition, and then we'll go.
We just run really fast.
I'm also very like doomsday prep. Like one of my favorite hobbies last summer was like building my own like AR, like building like a 300 blackout. You know,
nice,
yeah.
My brother's trying to get me into it. Yeah, he's like, we need to go to the range. I'm like, I know, but you never have time for me, and you don't love me anymore. Just kidding, but I do want to go.
Let's talk.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So what would you say, like, I know we talked about some of your favorites, but what do you think is the movie that actually got you into horror? Like, is there a foundational movie for you?
I would say it wasn't like a traditional horror film. I want to say it was like Labyrinth, you know, like with David Bowie, because it's kind of a horror film. It's scary. There's a lot of creepy stuff in there. The original Terminator, we had like this black box.
So good.
You could just get all the paid channels at the time, like HBO, Showtime, Cinemax. So we had this black box, and so I would just sit there and I'd watch like RoboCop, the original Terminator, because they would just like play those movies all the time. And so Predator. So like those, I was like, this stuff's cool. Like I love the creature design, like any cool creatures, and sign me up. Like I'm in. But I do love when there's a good like blend of comedy as well. I think that's why I love Return of the Living Dead so much, because it's just so campy.
Yeah.
The music's awesome. Like I put on the soundtrack all the time, like in the fall, you know, we drive around the hills in Glendale and Burbank. Like it's the perfect Halloween vibe. We go to the haunted Suicide Bridge in Pasadena, or the haunted park with the children's cemetery, like all this creepy stuff.
Gosh.
Yeah. And so we're listening to like, I have my Halloween soundtracks, like Return of the Living Dead soundtrack, Typo Negatives, October Rust and Bloody Kisses, and you know, just I gotta get the vibe like every year. Totally. Yeah. Maybe a little hymns sometimes, throwing it back. Like.
Yeah, sure, why not? What a throwback! Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Let's segue into, what do you think? And this doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be the best horror movie you've seen, but what would you say is the horror movie that scared you the most?
Ooh.
I think for
That's
most
hard.
people, it doesn't even have to be a particularly scary one. Because
Yeah,
mine,
just whatever
Yeah.
they saw that scared them,
right,
you know.
right. You just saw it at just the right time.
Yeah, that's the trick because I already have like PTSD from living in like bad neighborhoods and like
Oh,
doing, like,
Literally.
shootings and stuff.
Life is scary.
So yeah, I think I watched oh man, what is it called? I just watched it. It was on Amazon, and it's about this girl staying at this lake home, and there's a house being built across the water, and she doesn't know where her boyfriend or husband is all the time, and she starts going over. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's called
yeah.
like the
Is it Hell House?
No. It's
No,
it's something
no.
like
the lake house.
House.
Wait, is it
Lake
the lake?
House.
No, not lake. Is it?
That
It's House
We both
something
looked
for
it
sure.
up.
'Cause I feel like
Yeah.
I know we just
Yeah.
watched this. I think
it was
Yeah.
like perfect timing. I was so vulnerable. I was like laying in bed, watching on my laptop, and I was like, I'm kind of getting creeped out right now. I was like looking at like shadows, you know.
Start
No,
checking
the
your
Night
windows.
House. It was Night House, right?
Night
Yeah,
House.
that-
Because
Yes,
the Lake
that's
House is
right.
Sandra Bullock, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, Hell
that's
House is
right. It's
something
like a
else.
love story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Night House. I saw Lake House
Yeah,
in
I think we saw
theaters.
that.
That's how old I am. But
I think I might have too, but as a child.
yeah,
Y'all were in the
I,
same
I
theater.
was I was a pseudo child at the time.
Okay.
But yeah, Lake House got me at the right time, so that was kind of creepy. What Lies Beneath is another movie that's so similar to it, and that also creeped me out a lot.
I haven't
think
seen that one.
any movie. Oh, with oh my gosh, what is his name? He's like one of the best. Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, what?
And, yeah, it's done so well. It's like the creepiest movie, but it's not like on the nose. You know what I mean? Like it's like a haunting / like thriller because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but you should see
Right.
it. It's awesome.
Got you. Is there any horror that's coming out soon that you're looking forward to? I feel like
Yes.
I know which one.
You do? Okay.
Is it
Wait,
Alien
should we-
Romulus?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I messed it up.
There's something cool about that I can tell you off the record after we talk. But
Yeah.
no, so it's Cuckoo. I really can't wait to
We're pumped too.
Yeah,
Yes.
it looks so cool. I just like the cinematography. I'm guessing it looks like a werewolf like horror film. I'm hoping. But
I
we'll
have
see.
no
I
idea.
honestly don't know. I don't know. I just know it's some kind of experiment, something.
Right.
Yeah.
The trailers hasn't give
So-
away too much at all, but it looks really good.
I'm excited. I like Hunter Schafer.
Yeah, and I like it kind of feels like Resident Evil 4, like where, you know, the whole town, the whole village is in on it, whatever.
Yes.
Mhm.
So,
Stepford Housewives a little bit too. Yeah.
Yes, everybody knows.
That one I'm really excited about. I haven't seen too many other previews. Like I feel like all at once there was all these great previews for horror films right when Late Night with the Devil came out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
pretty much.
So I was like, oh, these all look good. So I pretty much think I've seen everything that was being advertised at the time, including Long Legs.
Right.
Late Night with the Devil was
Maxine.
fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Maxine, that X was like tough for me. I don't know. I felt like it was like so
Really?
intentional. Like it kind of felt like gore porn. You know what I mean? Like
X or Maxine?
Yeah, it was very gory.
X, which is Maxine,
okay,
right?
okay.
Which is like
It's the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I haven't seen Maxine. That's why, like, but
Gotcha,
I need to give it a shot. Like, I mean, I guess Rob Zombie stuff was a little bit like that at times too. But I always love when they do like a character they never explain, like in House of a Thousand Corpses, they have Dr. Satan, and you only see him for a little bit. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Like, this is the craziest moment ever. It's almost.
I got to meet him at Cult Classic Con last year. Walter Phelan.
Really?
Yeah, I was stoked.
That's who plays him. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
I know Bill Mosley. He was at a horror convention across from my friend's table, and I was drawing all these like weird zombie pictures for him, and like we were like trading like art. It was super
I
cool.
love it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, but I was gonna say something on that note. Like, oh yeah, so you know how like the movie's just it's already crazy, but it just ramps up to this insane ending, and you're like, what? Like, I love when they do that, especially like they do that in Hereditary. Like it just. You kind of think it's going to get crazy, and then the end, all of a sudden, like literally, you see the supernatural,
Right.
you know, or the witch, like you know.
Oh,
like,
God, one of my favorites.
Yes,
Yeah,
man,
love The Witch.
beautiful.
yeah, I really appreciate the slow burn, you know, into
Yeah.
finally like you thought it was crazy, yeah, it's
Lighthouse.
crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
Yeah.
a slow
Yes,
burn.
yeah, for sure.
have you seen The Ritual? I think it's called on Netflix.
I did. Yeah, we both like
yes.
that one. Yeah.
That was what your story earlier reminded me
Yeah.
of. I was like, wait, just
Yeah.
getting
that-
possessed, being weird
that
with their
was, like-
friends.
That was
That was
Zach
such a
that
good
night.
movie.
Yeah.
Pray. Oh, we even made that joke. We were saying we were gonna wake up to him like praying to some like figure in the attic or something.
Yeah.
Figurine.
Oh, was Zach the one that was crawling?
Yeah.
With the... Oh yeah, he definitely will. I think he's like a vessel for these things.
Yeah, definitely.
And then another movie I didn't expect that, because I had no context, was Barbarian, and it was like the coolest thing ever.
Man,
it was so
yes.
rad.
The first 15 minutes have you think it's gonna be a certain kind of movie, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then
it's
the
like,
entire movie just
Oh,
takes
period.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
no
thought it was
clue
just a
what's
short film. I'm like, oh, okay.
Literally.
Yeah. I guess that's it.
Stranger danger.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it got real weird.
Love that movie.
But it was good.
They did a great job on that one. So,
I agree.
Yeah, these are.
Absolutely.
I like that style a lot.
Absolutely. I do too.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything we want to mention before I start signing off, or?
Yeah. This fall, I'm going to be releasing a potentially full length for All the Damn Vampires, and it's like the whole like theme is like taking Miami Vice and making it LA Vice. So there's some cool cover songs. I'll cover like In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins.
Oh,
there's
shit.
a Bloodsport soundtrack cover.
Nice.
Cutting Crew, Died in Your Arms Tonight. But I did like Died in Your Arms, but the chorus is in like drop F, and it's like super heavy, and it's just like a little bit of a spin. So synthwave, and then like heavy guitars and drums.
Oh wow, that'll be sick.
Yeah,
That'll be absolutely cool.
And definitely,
fun.
we will definitely be keeping an eye out for that, and keep me posted. I want to see that. So.
Yes.
Okay, I will.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was super fun. I
Thank
know we
you.
did a little ranting and raving, but honestly, I had a great time.
It was
So.
fun.
Oh, I could go all night, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, you have a good one. Thanks so much. Let's play
too.
games soon. Bye.
I would love to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.